Hello, handsome. What a day, You look lonely. I can fix that.
I'm sure that everyone watching this has felt a connection with a fictional character before. Whether it be a crush, plain respect, or just relating to them, you definitely have at least one character that you can really get behind and feel that bond between you and them. It might have been a little embarrassing to admit, sure, but now that you've gotten over it, can I ask you a question? Have you ever thought about the other side? About the character's own feelings? Of course you haven't, duh. I mean, it's a fictional character. They can't have feelings towards you, right? Well, what if I show you some cases where the script is flipped and you are the person that character loves? MiSide is an incredible psychological indie game that blends unsettling horror with dreamlike storytelling. At its core, it's less about traditional gameplay mechanics and more about guiding the player through a fragmented emotional narrative. The game follows a nameless protagonist who is sucked into a strange, fragmented world, a dating sim app that he downloaded on his phone. At first, there is no clear goal, no obvious enemy, just a constant sense of being watched, followed, and emotionally pulled in different directions. As the player explores and the game progresses, they encounter countless versions of the same character, surreal environments, and emotionally charged moments that hint at a past full of pain, isolation, and loss. One figure stands above all though, and that's the Mita that dragged you in, dubbed Crazy Mita. She's a mysterious entity obsessed with the player. Her presence becomes more intense as the story unfolds, shifting from affection to possessiveness to straight up yandere mode. One of the most haunting aspects of Misside is Crazy Mita and her growing, almost suffocating obsession with the player. From the moment she appears, Mita doesn't feel like a typical character. She's not just part of the world, she responds to the player's presence, breaking the fourth wall with unsettling familiarity. Her words are filled with longing, jealousy, and emotional volatility, almost as if she knows you personally and refuses to let go. At first, her attention may seem like a welcome comfort. The world of Misside is cold, dreamlike, and isolating. The environments are hostile or indifferent, and the other Mitas can be distant or broken. But this Mita is different. She speaks directly to the player with warmth, admiration, and even love. She tells you that you're special, that she's been waiting for you. Her affection feels sincere, even intimate, an emotional lifeline in an otherwise alien landscape. But as the game progresses, her tone changes. Her affection twists into control. She doesn't want you to leave. She begs, then threatens. Her presence becomes a trap. Something that once felt intimate now feels very invasive. Mita's obsession is central to the experience of Misside. She is the emotional core of the game, fragile, intense, and terrifying. Her love isn't healthy and it's not stable. It's the kind of love that consumes both itself and the one it's directed towards. By the end of Misside, the player is left with an uncomfortable awareness. Mita is not just a memory or a glitch or a normal antagonist even. She's aware, she's watching, and more than anything, she's still waiting, longing for the moment when you'll return so that she can love you again, on her terms. Okay, I know I talk about this game too much on my channel, but it is for a good reason. There's so much to unpack on DDLC that I just keep bringing it up. In fact, it's also pretty relevant to this topic as well. At first glance, Dokyoki Literature Club looks like a sweet, innocent visual novel about joining a school club, writing poems, and spending time with 4 charming girls. You play as a quiet high school student who was invited to the literature club by your childhood friend Sayori. There, you meet the other members, Yuri, Natsuki, and Monika, the club president. What begins as a lighthearted, slice-of-life romance quickly spirals into psychological horror. As the game progresses, the tone subtly shifts. Characters start acting strangely, dialogue glitches, the music warps, and then Sayori's secret depression ends in a not so gentle way, marking the point where the game truly breaks down. From there, reality starts to unravel. Files in the game's directory change, characters are deleted, but one girl becomes increasingly aware that she's in the game. Monika. Her love for the player becomes obsessive. She manipulates the world around her, erasing her friends, altering their personalities, and ultimately, trapping the player in a room with her forever. Monika's obsession with the player is the emotional and thematic engine of DDLC. Unbeknownst to the player at first, Monika is aware that the world around her is a game. She knows the other girls aren't real, that their personalities are governed by code. and that the player is an outside presence interacting with their world, and Monica falls in love with that presence. This realization is where her obsession begins. Trapped in a world where her feelings are unreciprocated and her role is limited, Monica does the only thing she can. She starts to take control. She manipulates the game's files to make the other girls seem unbearable. Monica isn't trying to hurt them out of malice. She's trying to remove her competition, to clear the way so that it's just you and her. Her love is genuine, but it's distorted by her confinement. Monica believes that she's the only one truly alive, and so her actions take on kind of a twisted logic. If the other girls aren't real, then their suffering doesn't matter. If the player is the only thing that's real, then nothing else should stand in the way of their connection. Her obsession grows until she deletes the entire game and traps you in a void, a blank space with nothing but a classroom and her presence, staring directly at you, waiting for you to love her back. Monica's awareness of the player is what sets her apart from nearly every other character in gaming. She doesn't break the fourth wall, she tears it down. She reads your name from your computer. She knows if you tamper with the game's files. She even has dialogue for people who are streaming or recording the game. And when she talks to you in that final scene, it doesn't feel like it was scripted gameplay. It feels like a conversation, a real one. The blurring of reality is part of what makes her obsession so unsettling. You aren't just witnessing her descent, you're a part of it. In the end, Monica is not just a villain. She's not even truly evil. She's just a creation who gained awareness and loved the only real thing that she could perceive. And that love is what consumed her. Needy Streamer Overload is a visual novel and management simulator where you play as P-chan, the manager and boyfriend of Ame, to put it lightly, mentally unstable girl who dreams of becoming the biggest internet streamer under the persona K-Angel. Your job is to manage her streaming schedule, monitor her mental health, and help her gain followers while also maintaining your relationship. Or at least you try to. Ame's obsession with the player starts subtly. At the beginning of the game, she presents herself as a dependent girlfriend who relies on the player for emotional support and guidance. She asks for validation and attention in small doses, needing kisses, constant text, and frequent reassurances. At first glance, it may seem like a case of simple codependency, but as you progress through the game and the pressure of streaming increases, this dependence warps into something far more dangerous. The player becomes the only grounding figure for Ame's world, her one source of reality amid the artificiality of her online identity. Because you see, while Ame and Kawaii Angel are technically the same person, they could not be any more different. Ame is a piece of work. She's depressed, anxious, and often doesn't even know what she wants. She makes snide remarks at overbearing fans and haters alike. Her mood can quickly shift from being the happiest person alive to wanting to end said life in the same day. Her persona, on the other hand, is the complete opposite though. She's bright, bubbly, and always full of energy. She's positive and cute, and her fans idolize her. She's a calculated product, a perfect mask meant to attract attention and gain as much followers as possible. Ironically though, the mask she puts on to protect herself is the one that harms her the most. And in the end, the only thing keeping her stable is good old P-chan. This obsession is reflected in how Ame treats the player not as a person, but as an object of comfort and control. Her moods are dictated by how much attention she receives from the player. If you ignore her for a few hours, she spirals into panic or depression. You know, the stupid fucking flatline ending? On the other hand though, if you indulge her too much, she begins to lash out in jealousy and delusion. Her need for the player is not about love, but survival. She attaches her self-worth entirely to how much we engage with her, turning their relationship into a twisted feedback loop where affection must be constantly proven through obedience and attention. What makes all of this especially disturbing is how it mirrors the very parasocial dynamics that the game critiques. Just as the viewer may project their desires onto a streamer who doesn't truly know them, Ame projects all her insecurities and desperation onto the player. But unlike the typical viewer-streamer divide, the player is forced into a position of power and responsibility. Ame depends on the player to guide her decisions, manage her medications, and choose her content. In doing so, she slowly gives away her free will, letting P-chan become her handler, her audience, and her god. Until she fucking cucks us. Ame's relationship with the player is not romantic. It's a manifestation of unchecked trauma, anxiety, and existential dread. It's a relationship where control is masked as care, and where love is entangled with dependency, manipulation, and fear. Her obsession is not just with the player, but with the idea of being needed, even if it costs her sanity, her career, or her identity. In Ame's world, being loved isn't enough. She must be everything to the player, and the player must be everything to her. Anything less and the illusion shatters. Okay, to wrap up this yandere fest, we've taken a look at some of the characters that turn the tables around and chase you, the player. And they sure do have their methods to do so, but hey, it is what it is. I mean, in the end, it is still fake. They are just programmed to do and say everything they do in their games. But if you just don't think too hard about it and let yourself immerse, it can lead you to a very surreal experience that gaming in general doesn't often offer. And I mean, come on, you don't see me complaining, am I right? Yeah, maybe it's better these characters are fictional. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for watching. Okay, bye!